anything that is not God's will always either come to steal, kill, or destroy. All right, remember that's the nature of the enemy, and he's not going to send something and it's going to be like, oh no, I'll be nice to you because you know you are genuine. Nope. The enemy will always capitalize on unsurrendered, what can I say? So anything that you haven't surrendered, the enemy will always use those things to frustrate you. That's why a lot of the areas that you have stress in and worries and anxieties in is areas that you haven't submitted. Because think of it, God is all powerful, all knowing. In fact, the devil was kicked out by Archangel Michael. He was kicked out of heaven by Archangel Michael, not God, not Jesus, because they are higher than the devil himself, So now we must be able to trust that all the things that we go through are small things, like really, really small things. So when we are dealing with God, we must be able to trust him that, hey, look, you've carried me thus far, I never had to worry a day in my life about this, about that, about that, about that. So why now, when I'm conscious about what method it takes to get those things? It's like, for example, when you were young, you never worried about how bread is going to come into the house. You just knew that bread is going to come into the house. Your parents are going to buy groceries. So now that you are the one in the position for God, or the one that God is using rather, to bring this bread into the home, you can't start worrying because you know what's happening behind the scenes or what God does to bring this bread to the home. You just start trusting more that was probably what was happening before. They just didn't tell me, or I just didn't know that was the situation, whatever it is, or I didn't know that you have to work to get this or work to get that, or whatever it is, But that should not lead you into a panic mode. Remember, when God opens a door for you, he sustains you. And if he closes that door, it just means that there's another one. But remember, God sometimes doesn't close doors, then open another one, and it's all guns and roses. Sometimes it's like, hey, this season has ended, we're going to the next one. I need to build capacity in you. Okay, maybe he's taking you higher. Probably you're going to be managing more responsibility than you've been managing now. So he then draws you to him. And I know it becomes difficult because you start panicking like, God, what are we going to eat? What's going to happen? And all of those things. And, how are we going to get through the season and all of those things? But he sustains. Because remember, he's saying, hey, look, I've got a new level that's going to fix all of this. But I need to build the capacity. There are some things that God will not pardon, or move aside just because, we are, in need of that thing now.